Exactly. Every day in the Good Game office, the cast and crew get together to munch lunch and talk video games, because there's always something in the morning headlines that stirs up a discussion. So here are 5 big gaming stories that got us talking in 2014. Coming in at number 5, it's all about the remasters. The launch of next-gen consoles at the end of last year should have ushered in a bold new generation of gaming, but instead this year got off to a bit of a software limp and never really got going. The best games on both new consoles for most of this year were next-gen remasters and re-releases of games we'd already played. Sure, they were bigger, brighter and shinier, but still oh so familiar. There seemed to be a nervous reluctance from publishers to fully embrace the new systems, and instead of being retired to the bottom shelf, the PS3 and the Xbox 360 continued to survive with a handful of last-gen exclusives.
Who's your new friend, Eric?
Shut up, Mom, not now.
Hopefully next year will be a different story as the tide begins to turn in favour of the better hardware. But without a doubt, this has got to be the slowest launch of a next-gen console since, well, ever. Coming in at number 4, it's billion-dollar businesses buying out successful companies like Mojang and Oculus. Gaming's virtual reality future took an unexpected turn right at the start of the year, with the announcement that Facebook had bought Oculus VR, the company behind the successful VR headset, the Oculus Rift. The VR device that looked to turn PC gaming on its head was now in the hands of Mark Zuckerberg's social media squad, which naturally made gamers pretty nervous. But with Doom and Quake genius John Carmack joining Oculus as Chief Technical Officer, the company still has a champion of first-person gaming driving its focus. Another big buyout that raised our collective eyebrows was Microsoft's $2.5 billion purchase of Mojang, the creator of Minecraft. The deal caused major concern whether the tech empire would treat the beloved title with the respect it had earned. We all remember what happened to the once great Rare Studios. But this deal wasn't just about one game, and Mojang's golden reputation should serve Microsoft well with their future titles. At number 3 on our list, it's the next generation Resolution War. Another issue that embroiled the next-gen consoles this year was the drama surrounding resolution and frame rate. The Xbox One was regularly being trotted out as inferior to the PS4 in same-game comparisons, often showing to be rendering at lower resolutions than the PS4's 1080p benchmark. What really seemed to upset people is that game publishers weren't being totally upfront about it, seemingly wanting to avoid pointing out that their HD games were being upscaled or not wanting to put their chips behind one company's console. It wasn't all smooth 1080p sailing for PlayStation either, with a consumer even lodging a lawsuit against Sony, alleging deceptive marketing of Killzone Shadowfall, as apparently the game's multiplayer only displays 960 by 1080 res. If ever there was a definition of first world problems, then surely this was it. Let's hope 2015 is more about nuance and narrative rather than plain old numbers. Now coming in at number 2, it's buggy and broken game launches. This has also been a surprising year for botched game releases, with everything ranging from defective servers to buggy and broken code straight out of the box. Assassin's Creed Unity stunned us all by releasing in what felt like an unfinished state, with poor performance across all platforms and bizarre visual glitches that turned its characters into surreal nightmarish apparitions. Ubisoft also had trouble with a buggy Far Cry 4 on the PS3, advising everyone who downloaded the game to delete it, including their save files, and download another version of the game entirely. Meanwhile, Drive Club on the PS4 struggled with crippling server problems and even missing features. But most surprising was the Halo Master Chief Collection, shipping with completely broken matchmaking. What was once a defining feature of the series was now one of its biggest flaws.
But your inability to safeguard Halo was a colossal failure.
So why were launch problems so prevalent this year? Was it because our always online consoles made it even easier to patch straight after release and there was more pressure on publishers to ship? Either way, let's hope it's a trend that doesn't continue. Which brings us to the number 1 talked about topic in gaming this year, which was of course, Gamergate. The whole Gamergate saga was a black cloud that hung over the entire global gaming community and once again polluted the public perception of gamers. So why didn't Good Game produce a story on it? one answer is that this was a story that never stopped evolving, lurching from one horrible event to the next. Attempting to pin Gamergate down, what it stood for, whether its claims were legitimate, felt like clutching at sand. From the outside looking in, the movement seemed both misogynistic and vicious, while at the same time claiming to be concerned with ethical games journalism.
There was a bizarre schism to it that could never be satisfactorily explained.
Gamergate quickly became the label for a set of people seemingly outraged over simple social criticism of the games we play, lashing out at an industry that was becoming more diverse, more desiring of self-analysis. Gamergaters attempting to, for example, silence feminist commentary on games seemed ignorant of how review and criticism works in every other artistic field, be it film, music, or literature. As a culture, we need to view our games through different lenses to shine a light on their deficiencies in order for the medium to grow and ultimately become more colourful, more varied and more stimulating.
There will always be games that dare to offend or titillate. That will never change. But to insist that games are only superficial entertainment and should only be treated as such, or that games should only be judged objectively, is denying us diversity of opinion and restricting growth of the medium. Because in the end, games are and will continue to be so much more. All right, guys, next topic. Best game of the year?
Oh.